Welcome to CEC Lectures. I am Dr. Parveen Sharma. Today in this session I will speak with you on the topic Foundations of Curriculum. There are 4 foundations of curriculum: philosophical foundations, psychological foundations, sociological foundations and historical foundations. We will be taking one by one. An effective teacher must know clearly what she wants or what he wants his or her students to achieve. By curriculum development, we mean to facilitate the students by providing learning experiences in order to bring desirable changes in their behavior. If we talk about education system, the whole system moves to bring the desirable changes in the behavior of the children. We as teachers and teacher educators try to bring those desirable changes in the behavior of the learners. To evaluate the changes is also essential, because if we teach only and we do not evaluate, we will not be able to know whether those changes which we want to bring in the children have been acquired, have been gained by the children or not. So, it is essential to evaluate those changes. In curriculum development, the curriculum outcome is prepared by keeping the specific objectives in forefront. See, in any education system, we set the specific objectives, and through education system, through curriculum, we want to incorporate those changes or those desirable behavior or that kind of knowledge and wisdom into the children. 4 stages are involved in the process of curriculum development. Earlier to it, we have discussed what is the importance of curriculum and why it should be planned, because the objectives which have been set in the education system, how do we bring curriculum reflects those changes or those objectives which we want to inculcate among children. So, curriculum planning is important. Then comes the curriculum development. When we talk about curriculum development, there comes the 4 stages in it. First is the educational objectives, then the methods and material, then evaluation, and then reshaping the achieved learning experiences. First is the educational objectives. When we as teacher educators or we as the curriculum planners talk about the curriculum development, first of all there comes the stage that is the educational objectives. We set some objectives. Now, the question arises how we can fulfill those objectives on the part of the children. Definitely, curriculum will help to fulfill those objectives. So, curriculum has to be set according to those educational objectives. Then comes the method and material. After setting the educational objective, there comes the selection of methods. As we all are aware that each and every child is different to another, because there exist the individual differences. So, we cannot teach each and every child with the same method. So, we have to see which is our target group for whom we are to select the methods, and what kind of content or what kind of material we have to select for that particular target group. Then after objectives, methods and material, the third stage comes of evaluation. Just now I spoke to you that if we teach only and we do not evaluate, how would we come to know that the content or the information or the objectives or aims which we had planned that a particular child has to gain. So, without evaluating we will not be able to come to know. So, the evaluation is essential. Then comes the fourth stage, that is the reshaping the achieved learning experiences, because through the entire education system what we do, we teach, then we test, then we retest, then we reteach. So, this teaching and testing keeps on going till we reach at a stage that the information which we wanted that our children should gain is gained or acquired by the children. So, the four stages in curriculum development are educational objectives, method and material, evaluation, and reshaping the achieved learning experiences. We are aware that knowledge explosion is occurring at a fast speed. New changes are taking place in every field. The changes and knowledge explosion have significantly influenced the curriculum development, because if we compare the curriculum from the past, when the conditions were different, the curriculum was different, but in the field of science and technology, so many significant changes have occurred, and those changes have been reflected in the curriculum, because how can we teach our children to keep pace with those changes? That is only through the curriculum. So, curriculum development is influenced by all the changes which are occurring in various fields. It is important to know how these changes have influenced the education and curriculum development. See, we know by the time that these changes which are occurring in various fields have influenced the curriculum development. Now, we will see that these changes or bases or foundations, how they have changed or how they have influenced the curriculum. So, first of all, we will discuss the philosophical foundations, meaning by how the philosophy of the time influences or leaves an impact on the curriculum development, because whatever changes are occurring, those are reflected in curriculum. So, it matters what is the philosophy or what is the ideology at the time, because philosophical ideologies have always influenced the curriculum development. The great philosophers have contributed greatly in the field of education by providing their different views on philosophy. We will discuss the views and ideologies of great philosophers who were different to each others also, but how their ideologies have influenced the curriculum. Actually, education and philosophy both are related, both influence each other. New vision comes out of it. When education and philosophy, they influence each other, what happens? A new vision, a new thought, a new ideology arises, and philosophy of a particular time has always influenced the social thinking, because again I will speak on it that the social thinking is also reflected through the curriculum, because whatever we want to inculcate in the minds of the learner, that will be possible through the curriculum. It has a great impact on curriculum development. When a philosophy of education is formulated and stated as a central guiding element for the curriculum problem as a whole, its application will promote a more consistent relationship between the guiding philosophy and the suggested experiences, because they are interrelated. Whatever philosophy is prevalent at the time, that philosophy or that ideology will be reflected when the planners of curriculum will construct or will plan or will develop the curriculum. It is essential for curriculum framers that they have a clear idea of philosophy of education in their minds, because When the curriculum framers construct or develop the curriculum, they will have to see what is the idea prevalent in the society, because the idea which is accepted at the time should be inculcated in the minds of the learner through curriculum itself. So, it is apparently clear that the philosophy of education prevalent at the time should be clear in the mind of the framers of the curriculum. Philosophy appear, grow and change, which should be acknowledged by the curriculum framers. Time to time the philosophers also reshape or rechange or accept the changes in their ideas. That is why it is said that philosophy appear, it grow and it change, because it is dynamic. No knowledge is static, it is dynamic. So, these changes in the field of philosophy should be acknowledged by the curriculum framers. Only then the changes which occur in the philosophical field should be reflected or should be accepted by the curriculum framers. Now, further in the field of philosophy, we know very well that there are the different philosophers who advocate for different isms. First of all, we will discuss idealism and curriculum. What do the advocates of idealism says? Socrates, Plato, Hume, Kant and Rawls and many more idealists all propounded idealism. In this philosophy, more emphasis has been given on values and ideals. As the name suggests of this ism, that idealism, definitely it advocates for the values and ideals, because philosophy always advocates that the values and ideals which are accepted by the society should be inculcated in the mind of the learners. So, the advocates like Socrates and Plato and many more, which I have mentioned and which I have not mentioned, always emphasize on inculcation of values and ideals, as these play a greater role in character formation of the children, because they say that character formation is essential. When we talk about character formation, it should be clear in the mind of the listeners that it is a wider term, like many traits like honesty, punctuality, sincerity, sympathy, empathy, love, cooperation and many more such universal values, eternal values comes in itself. So, character formation is necessary through idealism. The great philosopher Nunn opined that subjects to be included in curriculum should have high values and importance for humanity, because Nunn, the great educationist, always talked about the development of humanity. He opined that if we want that humanity should grow, it should develop, then the curriculum should reflect the high values, because it is through curriculum only that in the schools, in the college, in the institutions, we can inculcate the high values among the children which we want them to follow. So, these values will be helpful in fulfilling life activities related to individual and society. The development and growth of individual as well as the society will be possible when the people who are living in the society or the whole of the community is full of humanity. They value the high ideals, they respect each other, and when the situation arises, they always keep the needs of the society or welfare of the society at upper hand than the individual needs. this should be helpful in forming human civilization, because this is through the efforts of its citizen that the civilization will grow. So, when through idealism, through curriculum, we try to inculcate the values and high ideas among the learners, then definitely it will take them to forming human civilization. The subjects history, geography, maths, arts, literature, music, sociology, commerce and moral education should be included in it, because all these subjects in one way or other will help the children to learn the values and ideas. Ras, the great educationist, the great philosopher, also said that curriculum is based on knowledge, sensitivity and development process. When the curriculum construction is in the process, it should be based on the knowledge which we want to provide to our learners. Sensitivity, when the children think for others, for the welfare of the society, and development process. So, poems, arts, music, crafts, weaving and music etc. are included in it. So, it can be said that keeping in mind the idealism, curriculum should focus on thoughts and ideas. Eternal values like Satyam Shivam Sundaram should be given prime place in the curriculum, because children must know that the eternal values will never fade and we have to follow Satyam Shivam Sundaram, and it should be given prime place in the curriculum. Physical development, social development, then spiritual development, moral education, arts, music and crafts should be emphasized, thoughts should be emphasized, because if we want that the curriculum should be developed in a way that our children should learn the ideas and values, because we are right now discussing the idealism and curriculum. What are the foundations which are based on idealism? They say that thoughts should be emphasized. The great philosopher Rask has very rightly said that the organization of curriculum depends on philosophy more than any aspect of education. See, this philosopher has gone to the extent that there might be other foundation, other basis, other aspects, but the philosophy is the greatest aspect on which the curriculum depends. Views of Aristotle are also based on Plato's philosophy. Plato was a great idealist. According to idealism, the real experiences of a human being is spiritualism. In the development of curriculum, cognitive, aesthetic and moral aspects, related subjects should be included and taught, like literature, science, mathematics, arts, history, geography, ethics, metaphysics and poetry. All will help the children. According to the idealism, curriculum should reflect the role of teachers as a role model for inculcating values. When we are talking about ism, idealism influence the curriculum, but who will be responsible in inculcating these values? So, here we expect from the teachers that they will play a role model for inculcating values. If a teacher wants that his or her students should be punctual, then first of all, for example, I am taking the example of punctuality, then teacher will have to act as a role model, then he or she has to be punctual so that his or her students can follow the role model. After talking idealism, we will discuss naturalism and curriculum. More importance is given to children in naturalism, whereas idealism talks about the values and ideas. Naturalism, in contrast to idealism, says that more and more importance should be given to the child. It does not accept the education for knowledge. It believes on the development of natural instincts of a child. According to naturalism, a child should be prepared to adjust according to real situations of life, and for it, child needs to be given practical training. Sports, geography, yoga and history should be given prime importance. In naturalism, the subjects like language, literature, religion, ethics, music and poetry are given second place. Different types of problems keep coming in one's life, so the curriculum should be constructed in a way that it prepares the child to face the challenges and problems in life. That's why the naturalism emphasizes that child should be taught in natural conditions that how to face the challenges and problems, because I feel that problems never ends, only the types of challenges and problems change. So we have to teach the child how to solve the problems. We are not supposed to solve the problem of the child, rather we have to teach the child how to solve the problems, how to face the challenges. So basic instincts of a child should be developed. Naturalists always advocate for child-centered curriculum. Rousseau, who was a great naturalist, opined that children are different from adults in feeling and thinking. At primary stage, children should not be taught any formal subjects, as these do not cater to their needs. At primary stage, their physical aspect and development should be focused. So, for it, natural habits and tendencies should be taken care of. Good physical development will help in the proper practice of good habits. Rousseau was against any bookish knowledge at this level. He always emphasized on the development of senses, because he opined that without the proper development of senses, logical thinking cannot take place. So, he believed that way. Then at the third stage, child is ready to acquire knowledge. Inquisitive tendency of the child has to be awakened. Knowledge of physical science, health and hygiene and music is given. Such type of knowledge will fulfill the objective of developing the traits like taking decision, using reasoning power, freedom in action, interest and clarity in action. Then at the last and fourth stage, the subjects like history, religion, aesthetics, gender and society, guidance and counseling should be studied by the students. Then pragmatism and curriculum. In pragmatism also, like naturalism, the child is given more importance, so the experiences are given prime place than the subjects. These are the experiences only which prepare the child to live the successful life in society. According to William James, pragmatism is a temper of mind and attitude. It is also a theory of the nature of ideas, and finally it is a theory of discovery of reality. Education is a dynamic process. The activities which enhance the interest of the students should be included in curriculum. Advocates of pragmatism always emphasize on utility. They say that the principle of child's interest, principle of activity should be followed. The great pragmatists Charles Peirce and William James opined that the ideas which can be examined and proved are true and real only. John Dewey was of the viewpoint that if you want progress, then social growth has to be given upper hand than individuality. Dewey also highlighted the interest of the child. Keeping in mind the views of all these philosophers, integrated curriculum was development. So, according to pragmatism, the children should be taught to think critically. It is not enough to provide child mere information only. And the last ism is the realism and curriculum. According to realism, the practical aspect is important. Bookish knowledge is not much significant. Children should be made aware to reality. Their imagination and abstract ideas should be developed as per the aims of education. Inclusion of such subjects in the curriculum will be needed, which help them to deal with the problems and realities of life. On one side, pragmatism had realized the importance of all subjects. On the other side, they have emphasized on the inclusion of subjects. But according to realism, it is the duty of teachers to impart knowledge to the children about the world they live in. It will help them to deal with the challenges of real life. So, we have discussed idealism and curriculum. We have seen that the different ism, idealism, pragmatism, naturalism and realism have somewhat different opinions, but all togetherly opined that this is the philosophy which really influence the curriculum. So, lastly, I will say that the curriculum development is reflected through the philosophy which is prevalent. So, it is important for the curriculum development that they should keep in mind the philosophical aspects. So, well friends, we have discussed the philosophical foundations of curriculum. I hope it will be helpful for you to know the philosophical foundations, as it will cover your different papers at different level of UG level and PG level. So, I hope it will help you. Thank you.